This is Don't Panic, episode number 356, recorded February 22nd, 2023. Hello, everybody. Welcome to this episode of Don't Panic, the technology podcast on gadgets, the internet, and of course, you. I'm Sean Jennings, joined by the. I didn't think of one of these ahead of time. Give me a second. I told you I was rusty. I'm joined by a man whose natural processing unit would put ChatGPT to shame. It's Colby Rabideau.
Hi, Sean.
You words good.
Yeah, totally. I can sound very confident and be wrong
Quick.
at the same time.
Quick, say
Yes.
10 words. Sorry,
banana,
don't-
monkey.
Okay, well, I get a theme going here. Okay, that's okay.
I got down a track and I kept going that way.
Very, very dangerous. Welcome back, Colby. It's been a wild couple months here in the Don't Panic verse.
It certainly has. I don't exactly know why, but it has.
You know, we go through these spans where we're just busy. I was traveling a bunch. Dan
That's
is
true.
Dan.
Right.
You were. I'm sure you were doing things and I just don't remember.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know. I haven't gone anywhere. Did I go anywhere?
Yeah.
I don't think I went
I
anywhere.
don't think you did, but then, yeah, but you were doing stuff. I'm very curious because according to our Slack, you were quote patching holes in the wall because of new plugs. So we got to do the home renovation corner. What's up with this?
Plug City.
Oh boy.
When we were at your house, your home, a month ago.
I was going to say we've done that. I think since the last episode.
Yeah, right. When we were at your house, you might recall that as we were like leaving to go to your house, we discovered that not our dishwasher, refrigerator, the cold box was broken. It was no longer keeping things cold, or it was keeping things cold, but like not cold enough.
Mm-hmm.
You know how it is. Like the freezer had become a refrigerator, and the refrigerator was just warm. So that was not ideal. And on the way home from your house, we dragged Heather to Target where we purchased a mini fridge that almost didn't fit in my car. So that was fun. And then we brought it up to the apartment. We ordered, we did the thing that night. We like looked at all the refrigerator options and looked at all the appliance stores and blah, blah, blah. And our fridge is a really weird size because we live in a small place. So it's like small, but it's like a little bigger than small fridges, like the really small fridges. So it's like, it's weird and there aren't a ton of options. So we ordered a fridge, and for reasons I don't remember, like because there were so few options of fridges, we did a bunch of thinking about if we could get a normal sized fridge and it be like at all functional in our apartment, which led us to theoretically rearranging things in the kitchen, which led us back to an old conundrum that has been encountered many times in the past since I've lived here, which is there's an entire wall that has no plugs on it at all. Ironically, it is the wall with the circuit breaker.
Oh, they just never got around to it.
Right. No plugs. There's a circuit breaker, but there's no plugs on it. So we decided to get some new plugs. So we called an electrician. He came, he looked, he's like, yeah, I can give you new plugs. We said, great. He said, money. And we said, okay. And then he came and they made many holes in the walls and ceiling. But in exchange for the walls and ceiling holes, we have new plugs. So those were the holes that I was patching.
Gotcha. Okay.
Also, on Monday of this week, we finally got our new refrigerator. So we're no longer mini fridge people. We are medium fridge people, because I wouldn't call our refrigerator a maxi fridge. But
Well, but now you also have the mini fridge, so maybe their powers combined.
sure, yeah. I guess together they're one full fridge.
Wow. So does the new fridge have any cutting edge features other than keeping things cold and colder?
No.
Okay. No shame in that. Can't beat a classic.
It's bigger than the smallest fridge, but it's smaller than normal fridges. It's kind of European, like it has a bottom freezer. And it has a lot of like drawer things that come out. Like, so you're supposed to, like, you open the freezer, take out one of the freezer bucket things, close the freezer, like do your freezer arranging, and then put the freezer bucket thing back in.
Well, that's handy.
Right. And it's, more efficient or something, which seems cool. So we'll see. We haven't filled it yet, so it's hard to say. It's hard to say if it will be better or worse at this juncture.
So what you're saying is I shouldn't send you a large box of Omaha steaks or something?
No, please.
No, they're not going to fit.
No.
All right. Well, that's exciting.
Yeah. So we had some home improvement. I spent my entire weekend patching holes, as you do, because I'm sure you've done this before. Like, patching holes is an exercise in, you do one step and then you wait for 3 hours for it to dry, and then you do another step and you wait for it for 3 hours to dry, and that you do that 5 times.
I am a realistic home renovator in that there are things I will admit I'm good at and things I admit I am not good at and will never be good at. Electricity stuff, I'm usually pretty good. I can wire stuff and I'm good at that. Dealing with wood in general, I'm pretty good at. For the life of me, drywall is the worst thing ever invented. It is my total enemy, whether I'm like fastening things through it or into it, whether I'm patching it, whether I simply cannot do it. It is more of an art than a science. And I am not an artist when it comes to drywall. So drywall is absolutely my sworn enemy.
Yeah. I really, there are some things I would do differently next time. But all in all, it mostly went well. Honestly, the worst thing that happened, which is not that bad, is that I had paint. Like, I had paint from when I got my windows replaced, and I had white paint, and I had the wall paint, and I had some trim paint, which I didn't use because there were no holes in the trim. But I was like, great, I have this paint already. I'll just use it. And I did it, and it, it seemed like paint. It like mostly looked the same. And now it's quite clear that the ceiling paint it's not the same. And after the fact, I realized that I had taken the ceiling sample from the bathroom when I went and got this paint. And
it's not the
it's
same.
not hard to imagine that they might have used a different paint in the bathroom for bathroom reasons. And so the patches on the ceiling in the kitchen are a little shinier than they're a little shinier than the rest of the ceiling. But that was the worst thing that happened.
Yeah, that's one thing I've never had good luck with is, and that's why you were at my home. Thank you for visiting, by the way. It was wonderful to have you. You probably noticed a bunch of spots all over the walls that needed to be painted. And there were some big ones. So if you didn't see them, I guess I did a good.
I didn't notice.
Because they were all patched from when they put the siding on and all the nails popped in reverse out through my walls. But the problem is I have no luck. Every time I've ever like patched a hole and then painted just the hole, it's always been visible. And I cannot so I have to redo the whole wall.
Right.
And I am way too lazy for that. So
Sure.
that's why, and literally like every outside facing room in my house has to be painted
Right.
because they all have these damn patches.
See, I feel like that's what, when I did the windows, that's what I was led to believe was going to be my experience. Because that's what everyone says. It's like, it's never going to work. You're going to
Yeah.
have to paint the whole wall. And the paint around the windows came out awesome. I don't know if I just lucked out or it's like a good paint color for matching or if I just can't see or something. But like that, the wall paint that I got that one time looks great. But this time, second time, I had the real experience where it's like, darn.
Yeah. Not fun. No, I gotta find that's one thing I do recommend for people is find a local handy guy who will do things for money. Because I have a list of like a bunch of small stuff I'm not qualified to do, like drywall repair.
Sure.
And I have a guy who charges a shockingly reasonable amount to come out for a day and he's very good and he
Nice.
doesn't charge a lot. And I'm like, yeah, I will
Right.
gladly throw cash at the problem.
Sure.
Rather than my gross. Of course, I had some huge holes when I moved in. Yeah, I had one hole in the kitchen. I was like that, and the bigger it gets, the harder it is to patch. And I said, no, sir, you can
Yeah.
do that.
I did a lot of experimenting with the various like structural elements that you can purchase at the store to like you put them over the hole.
Yep.
And then you like spackle them and it gives it some some body to stay up while it's so goopy. And yeah, mostly it was fine. I don't know. If you look too close, I didn't do a good job. But like from far away, it's mostly okay.
Sure. Well, that's all that matters. No one looks. Again, you're a prime example. You came to my house, didn't see all of my flaws. So
Right. You're the only one that noticed it.
just distract with lots of visual stimuli.
Right.
They'll never know anymore. Colby, what's with all the weird paintings? Don't worry about it. Just look at them. Just
It's
look at
art.
them. Yeah.
It's art.
Yeah. Don't look at the walls. Look at the art.
Yes.
Well, good. That's wonderful. I am starting to spin up landscaping planning for this year.
Oh, baby.
Because something has to be done, and I don't know what and to what scale, and whether I'm going to do it or bring in some outside help.
Like what kind of do you have a landscaping problem?
Oh, I got more landscaping problems I know what to do with. No, I don't have any grass. It's just all weeds. Every surface, front and back, it's all weeds. And it looks bad, and it's mostly dirt. And so really it's got to be planted. The problem is the front is okay. The back all has to be leveled out with like several tons worth of dirt. Which I'm not really qualified to do. And then all the existing stuff has to be torn out and grass needs to be put down. And I really should put in a sprinkler system if I'm going to do that. And then also in front of the house, directly against the house, it's just some plants and dirt. So really, I got to put down some paper and some stone and some plant. And it's just, there's a whole bunch of stuff I could do. The question is, what do I do and when? And you know me, what do I love? A, manual labor. B, being outside in the summer in the sun.
Oh, yeah.
C, being dirty. Really, it's so up my alley, it's crazy.
Right.
So
right. It's the Sean I know. Green thumb.
Not great.
Burn
Not great
elbows.
at all.
Yeah. Huh.
So more to come on that.
Yeah. Landscaping.
More to come on that.
Yeah. The tiny apartment has its pros and cons. But landscaping is neither a pro nor a con. It just doesn't exist, which is great. Sometimes if you don't want to do it.
It's great. Well, you got your little plant in the background there. You got a little green going.
Right. Yeah. I'm going through a weird phase where I can't remember to water the plants, which has never happened to me before.
Ouch.
And like, I've had plants since after college mostly, or at least since I moved to Boston, I've had plants. I don't know what happened in the last 3 months, but I can't remember to water them.
Seasonal depression? I don't know. I don't. That's one thing I could think of in my life when I forget to do things this time of year. It's usually what I blame.
That's it. I don't know. It used to be a part of my Saturday routine where I cleaned the house and also watered the plants. And it just hasn't happened the last 3 months. I do eventually remember to water them when they look super sad.
I'm surprised you haven't thrown technology at this problem. That you haven't bought a smart water sensor or something so the plant
Sure.
like flashes your lights and shouts at you with a siren that
Hey.
please water me.
It's not a bad idea.
No, it's a very bad idea. You definitely should not do that. Your plant, I'm sure it's a lovely plant. It is not that for the price of whatever that sensor is, you can buy 10 of those plants. It is so not worth it.
The problem is I have a lot of small plants.
Yes.
Which is not conducive to having a temperature sensor. Did you know that we have my last Christmas, not this Christmas, the previous Christmas, my dad got me a lime tree for a present.
I vaguely remember this, but I didn't know if there was an update.
So part of the update is the lime tree lived in the garden outside all year.
Mm-hmm.
But then they don't winter because they're from California and
oh god
stuff. So they have to go inside, and we just don't have room for like the lime tree got bigger, as plants do. We just don't have room. So it lives at my parents now. But we ate a lime off of it, and it was like super good. It was very flavorful. They're tiny. They're small. They're like this big.
Micro lemons.
Yep. But they have seeds. Like I've never had a lime with seeds, but it tastes awesome. So.
Oh, that's very cool.
Yeah.
Oh man, I pushed to get a fruit tree for my backyard, and my mother said that was stupid. So instead, we got a lavender bush. Can't eat those. Oh, I guess you can.
Kinda.
Kind of make some cocktails or something fun.
Yeah.
Wow. Well, that's great. Well, anything else of note in the last month and a half? I was mostly on the road, to be honest with you.
Sure. I finally decided to recycle all of the pile of unused computers and Apple devices that had accrued. Medium success so far in that. I went through the flow, on the website and put in, I charged them so I could find the serial number and blah blah. And so I did them all, submitted them, and I got the emails that confirmed, you did the thing. Good for you. And I didn't read them because they just said I did the thing. I'd done it before. They send you a box and you send it back. And yesterday, 8 days had gone by and I had not received a box yet. I was like, what is going on? And it turns out that they don't send you a box anymore. You have to take it to FedEx. so now I'm on the clock because you have to do it within 10 days or something. And I just didn't realize that I had to do something. I thought things were going to be done to me from that point forward.
Damn. So. And you were just trying to do the right thing. Well, I don't know if you know this. Do you know that Boston has an electronics recycling program?
Really?
Yeah, you do what all Bostonians do is you take them down and you just chuck them in the Charles River with all the other garbage.
Perfect. That
they sink right to the bottom, and eventually they'll be brought up by the Big Dig too. But until then, they'll just sit at the bottom of the river, and no one will ever know.
Perfect. Yeah. Theoretically, they're going to give me some amount of money for several of these things. Not all of them, but
nice. What are you going to do with all that Apple Store credit?
I don't know, subscribe to HBO for a year or something.
Can you use it on that?
I think they just give you gift cards.
I never thought about it. Well, because but I think because I've done trade-ins before, and I always steered away from Apple because they don't give you cash. But I think it's. I would have to look at it. Always thought it was only Apple Store, like the store,
Oh,
not
you might be
iTunes
right.
or.
I assumed it was like the Apple like store, this store cinematic universe.
The whole of Apple apps and all. No, it says Apple gift card on the website.
It could go either way. If not, I might replace my Mac Mini because I think my Mac Mini is dead. It like turns on, but it doesn't stay on for more than a day. Which is
If you're not using it.
I mean, I use it for a little like home server thing. Like I have some random file syncing stuff that lives on there and things. So like it's one of those things like I'm not actively using it, but it's supposed to be doing something in the background.
Gotcha.
They're new Mac Minis, right?
I think that's true. Apple gift cards do work across the Apple universe.
There you go.
So you're good. Okay. See, I never thought. Well, now that's something. Because I've done. I've traded it at like Gazelle and Best Buy and I think Verizon once, just depending on who gives better offers. And most of those guys will pay you in cash.
Nice.
But that's good. Clean the house, spring cleaning.
Yes, sir. Yeah. That's all that's going on with me.
I gotcha. Yeah, I don't think I really have too much technology-wise that's going on with me. I was in Vegas for a week, 7 days, too long to be in Las Vegas.
That seems like too long to be. I've never been to Las Vegas, but knowing what I know,
absurd, absolutely absurd. It was too much. I did get to drink. I had a mojito flight. So that was fun. I had a lot of nice cocktails.
Were they different mojitos? What were the differences?
It was the fruit they put in them. So there was like a watermelon, a blackberry, and maybe a traditional.
Sure.
Something like that. And they were fine. I wouldn't call them. I did have we ate at a place, which, hey, if you're ever in Las Vegas, I recommend Yardbird, which is at the Venetian, wonderful restaurant. But they had their own old fashioned where they used maple syrup and other things, and it was very good. I had a lot of cocktails. It was good. I accidentally bought. We went to. Oh man! So usually, because I'm the most senior guy at the table, I order for everybody. And we went to this very, very nice. It's It's Asian Latin fusion restaurant. Very, very good. Been there before. And I'm not a big sake guy. Like I like it, I do. I just never get it or buy it. Sure. But at this place specifically, they really push. Like we've got some great options, and we're there. So I usually get sake when we go there. And we were there and usually I'm one of like one or two people who get it. It's not real popular at the table, but for some reason, a bunch of people wanted it. And she was like, "Oh, why don't you get like a bottle instead of individual? Basically give you a shot, Right. And I said, "Okay, that's fine." And of course, the liquor only server is very smart to get our money out of us. She brings the menu over, and I am like not paying attention at all. And I'm like, and she's like, "I think is this?" And no, that looks good. Bring that. She brings it out. And mind you, I'm on the company dime. And so what is a glass of sake? $15, $20, right? The bill comes out. We drank the whole bottle. I drank probably half of it alone. It was very good. She brought the bill. It was a $150 bottle of sake. Which I was doing the math. I'm like, we could have gotten a lot of glasses for that. Wow. My God. And I said, I hope the company never notices that. So if anyone, and actually, by the way, I should point out, last week was our company sales meeting. My fun fact about me was I was a podcaster. They all Googled me, found this show. So if anyone from work is watching, don't tell that story to anybody, okay? That is between you and me. Yeah, but that was fun. And yeah, it was good. I got first class upgrade.
Oh, look at you.
which is great because turns out a Chicago to Hartford flight at 6:30 p.m. is very light on passengers. And if you just very politely ask at the counter and flirt a little bit, and you know me, Mr. Romeo here, they'll upgrade you to first class. So I imagine it was like a 2-hour flight, but still
Wow.
pretty cool. Living the life.
Amazing. Wow. I've never flown first class in my entire life. Was that your first time?
That was my first time.
Wow.
It was the seats are great. The seats are great. I will say that. And they bring you your complimentary beverage in a glass. So you feel very fancy.
Wow. No plastic for this guy.
No, it was so comfortable. But do you know the downside of flying first class?
No.
You fly with other first class passengers, and they suck. I sat next.
To talk to them.
They're chatty,
Oh.
because they're all in their little first class club.
Right.
And I sat between one on the side of me, one on the other side of the aisle. A state Supreme Court judge from Vermont, and on the other side, an investment banker. And guess what? They had opinions that I had to fucking listen to for the whole 2-hour flight.
Wow.
Guy would not shut up.
You should have asked for a refund. Like,
well,
you upgraded me to first class, and I had a horrible time.
Well, that's the thing. You can sit anywhere you want in the plane. You do not. Even the pilot doesn't choose his co-pilot. You don't get to choose who you sit next to. Unfortunately, but then the funny thing is, I look in the back of the plane and like I could have had a whole row to myself, you know. And in the back, I'm like, is it? But it was fun to do once. But I'm just like, oh, that's right. I forgot. Everyone who sits up here sucks. Because you had $2,000 to spend on a 2-hour Chicago to Hartford flight.
Right, that seemed worthwhile.
Exactly. And joke's on you because I paid nothing.
Woof. Wow, I never considered that, but it makes a lot of sense. It makes sense that they would be chattier.
Yeah, because usually they want to talk. You know, oh, I'm coming from my ski trip in Vail, and it's like, oh my god,
right.
Buddy,
in addition to flexing that they can afford a first class seat, they want to continue to wave that around.
Exactly, because everyone wants to know how you afford those first class seats. Thank God nobody asked me. I kind of went under because no one's like, you don't look very fancy.
Excuse me,
where's your monocle and top hat?
This man does not look like he belongs in first.
He's
class.
A fraud. That would be funny actually. Kick me back. Yeah, no, it was a treat. So nice. Anyway, my big flight excitement for whatever it's worth. But no, good trip. So I'm homebound for a little while. Actually, I'll be in Providence, Rhode Island at the end of March for my annual show I do there. So
P-Town.
Going to be a lot of fun.
Nice.
Or not.
Is your show's at the
convention center?
Convention center. Yeah. Where do you stay?
This year I think we're at the Courtyard, the big Courtyard downtown, but I have stayed at the Residence Inn on the other side of the road, which I think is pretty new, and it's very nice.
The only hotel I know in Providence is the one with the glass elevator. I forget what it's called. The Biltmore, I think.
Is it the Biltmore? Yeah,
I think so. And I've never stayed there. Just one time, when I was a child, I wanted to ride the glass elevator, so my dad and I went and like rode the glass elevator all the way to the top.
I will say cool. I've had some wonderful meals in Providence. There's very nice restaurants there.
Yeah, pretty good food.
So that'll be exciting. And then I'm done traveling forever. You know, I realized you got to help me out, Colby, because I realized this year is my first full year with an extra week of vacation.
Wow.
But I don't go on vacation.
I
haven't been on a vacation. The last vacation I went on was with you on a cruise ship.
Wow, that was a long time ago.
Sean. It was pre-pandemic. I got to get out. I got to get out of here. So I got to come up with something to do with so I have the time and the desire, but I have to actually do something. So
are you going to do it all? Do you want a week-long vacation, or do you want to just like here and there take a day or two?
I don't need a whole week necessarily, but I would I would like to like be somewhere that's not my house
Sure, for some amount of time.
for some amount of time. A week's probably long unless you pick somewhere where it's like, no, you really need to. But
Right.
I think I would get, again, that's 7 days in Vegas by the, although I will say, actually, the nice thing is you get used to the time zone, you know how that goes, and you're set. So by the end, I'm like, I live here now.
That's true. I might as well stay. Yeah, like I don't travel as well as I used to, in that like the day I do the traveling is like a black hole of a day.
Oh, sure.
Even if it's like when we went to your house, if it's like a long car ride, it's like I'm just tired. Like I need to sleep and then I can party. But it's a shame. I don't know. Maybe I was always like this and I just notice more now. But
We're just old.
yeah.
We're just old now. That's that. There's nothing new there,
Right.
unfortunately. But what are you gonna do?
Just get old and die. That's the
And speaking
in
of getting
store?
old and die, Colby, why don't we talk about the tech news this week?
technological
That was a
news.
Terrible segue. There's really not a lot of news. We haven't done the show in like a month and a half, and there's no news. It's just not an exciting time of the year for news. Post CES, pre early summer, it's quiet. I was thinking, Colby, is this the episode where we finally talk about AI?
Without Dan, he's gonna be so mad.
I know,
Sure.
and he had a
Let's
good.
do
He
it.
had a great. You know, it's so funny. So I have followed Dan on many social platforms over the years, Twitter and Instagram and stuff. On Mastodon, he is blowing up this guy. I'm telling you, he posts these things, and I'm like, Dan, it's like I'm talking to you. I finally understand your life. This is great. He had a great comment today on the AI, and I'm like, oh my god, this guy.
Oh, I haven't scrolled on Mastodon today.
The good news is I only follow like 6 people, so
I kind of like it.
high visibility.
Right. Do I follow you on Mastodon?
You should.
Do
I follow you?
What's your tutor?
What's my server?
Yeah, what is your
Stuff
server?
is so dorky. I have to look because I don't know. I am Sean Jennings at mastodon.world.
Sean. Oh, I don't follow you.
Oh,
What
follow
the
me.
hell, man?
I'm following 12 people. All I did was one of those like match your Twitter to Mastodon things, and it must not have caught you.
Right.
And I didn't add anyone other than that. So
Users with Sean Jennings. Which app do you use?
I am right now. I'm just using the like standard one, but that's only because I haven't really taken the time to like actively investigate.
Nice. What's the standard one?
It's just the Mastodon has like their official. I'm sorry.
What happened?
Kobe, you're the best. You're just the greatest. You're the only guy on the planet who goes on Mastodon and posts your swarm badges. Come on, dude. You're kidding.
I was
What
excited.
decade is this?
I was excited to have become the mayor of Dunkin' Donuts.
Listen, I'm happy for you. I genuinely am. But the contrast of like the newest, most cutting edge social network, and you're posting a screenshot of like the oldest, most defunct social network. There's just something very funny about that.
I think like using Mastodon and using Swarm today have a lot of the same properties in that like
No one uses either.
People do it. And it's not like it like a swarm obviously still runs, it is functioning, but like no one is doing anything to it. It has not changed in 8 years. And that means like all of the things that have happened to like Facebook and Instagram and like all of the social media trends where they're like haven't happened. So it's just not annoying. It doesn't
It's just fine.
Right. It doesn't do any of the thirsty like like trying
algorithm
to like,
ad stuff.
yes, yeah,
Well,
right, exactly.
but to be fair, they don't have to do it because they make money selling your location data to advertising partners.
Totally, which I'm fine with.
I guess it's a good model. Should I get back on Swarm, you think?
100%.
I don't even think I still have it installed.
All the OGs are still there. Dantel still checks in on Swarm.
Does
Joey
he?
Carmelo, yeah, it's all over the
Oh my
place.
god, that's so funny.
We never left.
No, I was about to say
I
there's just
use it every day.
years and years and years of location data of Colby, just like
Well, that's the beautiful thing. It's like we went to visit New York over the break, and I just like went on my Swarm map and looked at all the places I'd ever been.
it's not a
It's
bad
like,
idea.
oh, we should go here again. It's like, what was that place? Dan and I went that one time randomly.
If Colby checks in an app and no one's around to hear it, does it make a sound?
I don't know.
No.
No one cares.
No, I think that's wonderful. That put a smile on my face.
I should have used a content warning.
Yeah, that's great. Well, thank you for following me. On the Mastodon, I don't post anything, but that's true on Twitter too. So,
Never know, Sean. Someday.
is there anything in particular, Colby, you would like to talk about this evening in the world of technology?
AI. I'm actually interested. The Spotify's AI DJ sounds kind of fun.
Honestly, okay. So we don't have to get too much in the AI thing. Frankly, I don't even know there's that much to talk about it. But it's clearly a fad. Not that it will go away ultimately. It's just very popular right now in the same way NFTs were, and then the metaverse was, and then self-driving cars was, and then et cetera, et cetera. Some of it'll stay, some of it won't. We'll see what happens. But I agree with you, Colby. This is a fun, less easy to screw up implementation. Spotify is rolling out a feature simply called DJ. A new way to immediately start a personalized selection of music. Now, of course, lots of apps have that ability. Hey, create me a playlist based on what I like. There's nothing new about that. What's different about it is it comes in the form of a literal DJ. It's an AI voice generated by Sonatic, which is a startup Spotify bought last year. The DJ's voice model was trained on the voice of a real human. And basically, it DJs between your music automatically from AI. It'll come on, it'll say, hey, I'm your DJ. I created this playlist for you based on this artist you like. And even between songs, it'll say, hey, I picked this for you because of this. Again, there's some written examples in this article where it said, okay, changing it up. Here are editors' picks for the best in hard rock this week, starting with Motionless in White. The company put together a writer's room of scriptwriters, music editors, data curators, and engineers to make sure that the bits of info the AI DJ drops are useful, accurate, and relevant to the music we're hearing. I think that's neat.
Yeah. I think it's kind of fun. I wonder, as you were talking about it, I was wondering if this is actually a way for them to save money because they don't have to pay anyone for when you're listening to the DJ. And in aggregate, it's probably a lot of money. Like the 10 seconds between songs is probably like millions of dollars.
Oh yeah. No, I'm sure that I would be surprised if any tech company put out a feature that increased cost
Right.
and not found a way to somehow cut it. So
Yeah, that's funny. Yeah, it's cool. I think in general you're correct about AI in that, or the current wave of AI things. In that, at some point it will not be novel. Like it just existing for its own sake will not be novel.
Will you allow me, please, to do a mini rant on my problem with AI?
Of course.
Okay. Because I've thought about this, unlike most things in my life. And I figured out why AI bothers me than other tech fads I mentioned.
Mm-hmm.
So when I think about some of the other fads we've seen recently, I mentioned some. The metaverse, right, was going to be big for a little bit. Then it was crypto. Then it was NFTs. The problem with all of those is, did they financially ruin people? Sure. Um, the problem I have with some of the AI stuff is I'm concerned about the mental impact of AI. Whereas I'm not so much with an NFT, right? They're goofy and they're stupid, and might have gotten ripped off, but it's not gonna. But man, I look at this and I haven't gotten a chance to try it. I'm on the wait list for the Bing search because that was one of the big rollouts, was being able to search with conversationally. But it worries me that these AI products come out without a clear definition or understanding of what they are for the layperson. Like if my mom doesn't know what an NFT or is cryptocurrency is, it doesn't matter. But if she does a Bing search, which is something a mom would do, they don't understand. They hear AI and they don't understand it's a prediction model that's trying to guess the next word in a sentence. They think it's some genius AI smart intelligence thing, and it's going to take what it says more literally than it probably should, as referenced by these millions of stupid articles where it's like, Bing's AI told me to kill myself. What does this mean for? It's like, it doesn't mean anything. It's just a damn computer model. And so it does worry me that people are not going to understand what these are and what they're for, and will take them in ways they shouldn't. Especially when you combine them with something as, for lack of a better term, sensitive as search results, which is something people rely heavily on, whether or not they're right, whether or not they're, we've all seen those Google guesses the correct answer things where sometimes they just make no sense. And as soon as you put them in a conversational tone, I have a feeling they're going to gain authenticity that they don't deserve, because they'll be like, well, the smart computer lady told me it was right. And so I think there's going to be some good things to come out of this AI fad, but it does worry me the impact it could have, different than some other fads. Mini rant over.
Yeah. I think that's true of lots of things in different ways. Like, I feel like we went through this, with Facebook and the news and like all the Donald Trump stuff and like all of that
and that ended super well. So, then
well, I don't think it's ended at all, but I feel like there's a certain amount of like it being featured in a place on Google or on Facebook or, on a thing that everyone uses. It like, before it lends it some like credibility that it hasn't necessarily earned, right? And like it's like I guess I'm like making the analogy to like news, like random links on Facebook, right?
Sure.
It like seems more legit, and like maybe now people look at stuff on I everyone I know says like, oh yeah, obviously all links posted on Facebook are garbage, like almost exclusively. But
but that's what scares me is when a couple years from now you go on and, hi, I'm Facebook. I picked out this news article for you. I found it really interesting. Right. And then like your great aunt's going to be like, oh, Facebook thinks this is interesting. I'll read it. Because they won't know the difference. So no, I'm with you. And again, we don't know how much. And by the way, I think some of the AI stuff is incredibly cool. I think that some of the image generation stuff is very cool. I think there are a few like brand new startups that are trying to do AI around podcasts and podcast editing. And some of this, which me as a podcast nerd, I'm like, okay, there are models now where it'll do the transcripts of your entire show way better and faster than before using some of these language models. So that stuff's really interesting to me. When I can just tell my computer, hey, edit the video this way, and it knows what that means and can do it. Hey, that's cool. However, I think how AOL Instant Messenger used to have a robot you could talk to, and it would send you back answers back in the day. I mean, I don't. Just to me, this is kind of a lame implementation of cool technology.
Yeah. I've been trying the like GitHub, the Microsoft property has like I keep forgetting what it's called. Copilot. It's called Copilot.
Oh, that's right.
It's a plugin for your text editor, your IDE thing that it gives you, like, I mean, you've used things like this before, right, Sean, where you get like the autocomplete for doing like HTML or whatever, where it's like you do
Yeah.
the open bracket and it's like, oh, it could be, div or heading or whatever. Um, it like uses that mechanism, but it like tries to like write the code for you. So like if you like type in, if you like name, you name a variable and do equals, it'll like try and guess what you're gonna put next, like based on like the name of the variable and like what you've typed before. And like 1 out of 20 times it's like wild, like, oh my god, it just read my mind. And like 18 out of 20 times it's like, okay, like maybe, I mean, that's kind of what I meant. And like another 1 out of 20 times it is like, looks very passable, it looks like exactly what you want, but it's
Mhm.
actually completely wrong, and you don't realize like 20 minutes later, where it's like, I swear this was, I like I thought about this, but I didn't actually think about this. I let this stupid thing like write it out for me, and it was not what I meant.
It's cheating on
In
your
some
homework,
very
buddy.
subtle way.
You're
Right,
never
right.
gonna learn.
There's a, you always have to pay the piper.
Oh, thank God this stuff wasn't around when we were in college. Holy smokes.
Can you imagine?
Oh man, I would have never done anything. As soon as they make one that can generate PowerPoint presentations,
I
I'm
have to
done.
imagine it's already done, right?
I would think so. Again, just feed it enough data and
I mean, you can't like, what's the Chat GPT, like,
yeah.
I feel like that one can already do, like, you could probably ask it for an outline of a paper and it would give it to you,
100%.
right?
I saw somebody today, I don't know why this came, it was actually on Mastodon. Somebody went on there and said rewrite, forget which one it was, rewrite a Taylor Swift song to be about terrifying children of the corn. And it did. It was very funny. It did all the lyrics for the whole song and they rhymed and everything.
That's awesome.
So, again, I like that kind of stuff. I do. It's, Microsoft's already talking about rolling it out in Word and in PowerPoint and bringing it. And I'm like, yeah, I guess that's good.
I just wonder, like, if we take that to the extreme where, there's just like the computer program does all this stuff for you. Like, what's the point?
Well,
Like,
you
why,
laugh.
if
A
the
couple
computer could do it for you, why are you writing it at all?
Well, but a couple years ago there was this article I read, forgot where they were like jobs most likely to be automated in the next 10 or 20 years. And like in the top 5 was marketing. And I'm like, how do you automate? Like, it's a creative field. How do you automate marketing? I'm like, wait, so there's an app that'll generate images. There's an app that'll generate text. That's like all I do all day. You're like, oh no, I have read these. And I'm like, the second you go in and be like, write an ad for product, it'll just do it. And then I'm like, that's what they pay me for. So I laugh, but it's like, damn, we actually can automate creativity. This is dangerous.
Crap.
Oops.
I don't know, man.
Oh well.
Right. Just got to sell as many screws as you can right now.
Well, the thing is, you can't automate a screw, Colby. Don't forget that.
Right. Nothing artificial about it.
No, handmade steel, USA, America.
Built things.
Something. Yeah, if marketing doesn't work out, I'll go work on the line and make some screws. We always need good machine operators.
There you go.
Well, that's basically you got to pick this week, Colby. I was trying to think if there was anything.
I have so many picks, and I have like a list in my reminders app that is nominally my picks list, but I haven't remembered to put a pick into the reminders list in at least a year, maybe more. And I keep every time we start the show, I forget that is the case, and I always look at it when we start the show, and there's nothing there.
Yeah, I'm with you.
I've got a pick.
Picks. Yeah, I mean, I could pick some stuff I'm watching, or that sort of thing. I don't really have any huge tech. I will say I'm now using the Twitter app because I don't have a choice. And I actually am breaking my own rule, if you can believe it, because I was always such an advocate of the linear feed, which was the reasons I liked Tweetbot, was because they just showed me all my tweets in regular order. But I do still use the following tab in the Twitter app most of the time, but I do use the For You tab sometime. I've been naughty. Because it is great when I've been away from my phone for a day or two and haven't looked, to be able to catch up. I'm like, okay, actually having the option for both is pretty cool. Okay, sure. I'll give you that. Don't take away my linear option, but I like to do both.
Nice.
But speaking of social media, while I look for one, how is Ivory?
It's good. It's like Tweetbot, but for Mastodon. It's totally fine. It works better than any of the other Mastodon things I use that, they had a sort of open source charm about them, but it didn't really work. Yeah, Ivory's good. I don't remember how much it costs. I honestly, I was in the beta for a while and I forgot that I started paying for it until just now. I don't know if it's worth paying for, but it's nice.
Gotcha. Is it a one time? Oh no, it's a subscription.
It is. I think you can do like a year at a discount if you want to, but it is a subscription.
Yes. Yes, it is. Yeah, but it's $15 for the year.
Right. Yeah. It was like a wild. Overcast level subscription where
yeah, more of a generous tip than it is a monthly ripoff.
Right. Yes. Right.
Right. Excellent. Well, Ivory, yeah, I'll download and try it. I just haven't gotten the chance, but it's been on my list to check out. Yeah, the Mastodon app is not anything to write home about.
Yeah.
if I'm being honest, unimpressive. Well, very good. We'll have a link to that on the website. I am continuing to stall because I don't have a pick of my own.
Fired. Get out.
Well, it's one thing if you also don't do it, but then when you bring one, and I just look like a huge schmuck for.
I'm sorry, I just pulled one out at the last minute.
Yeah, man, you really chucked me under the proverbial bus.
Yeah, it was a trap.
All right, how about this? It's gonna be lame, but it's gonna beat nothing. Colby, have you ever had some USB ports but wanted more USB ports?
Almost every day of my life.
It is a common problem facing many Americans today, but now there's hope. It's called the Anker 4-port USB 3.0 Ultra Slim Data Hub for MacBook, Mac Pro Mini, iMac, Surface Pro, XPS, Notebook PC, USB flash drives, mobile hard drive, and more.
Really rolls off the tongue.
Catchy name, as most Amazon products are. It's a 1 USB to 4 USB hub that I purchased $19.99, available on Amazon.com. USB 3 slim. The main reason is, and actually I was going to look this up. It's going to be somewhere in my history. I purchased an Amazon Basics. Oh, look at this. I swear to God, I think this was one of the very first Amazon Basics product back in the day. And I have it here. This is an Amazon Basics USB 3.0.
Oh, baby.
USB hub. It's got the original Basics logo. I purchased this back in 2015. 7 years ago.
Is that one of those square USB plugs on the end there?
Oh yeah, it's got the big, like, the triple.
Yeah.
And you have to put a power adapter in it. That's how old this thing. And I was still using it. Because I don't have enough USB ports, because I refuse to buy the really expensive Mac docks, like the Thunder, or what are the CalDigit, like the $200 ones.
Sure.
They're nice. I have one at work, But for my house, instead, I just got like the $50 Anker like USB-C small adapter, but it only has 2 USB ports on it.
That's not enough.
So I was supplementing it with this, and I just kept staring at it, and I'm like, I cannot believe I'm still using this. So I picked up the Anker. It's slim, it's small. The only downside is it's only got 4 ports. My other one had 7. And believe it or not, I actually need more than 4, which is absolutely... Well, I got the keyboard and the mouse, which I still use dongles and cables for. I got the webcam and the microphone. I've got my external hard drive. I've got my photo scanner, flash drive. I got a lot of stuff.
It's a lot of dingai.
The wireless future is not here quite yet.
No, sir.
But it's great. And $20 is not outrageous for it. And it's slim and it travels well. So,
Amazing.
Anker products, not a shocking pick, but at least I did something. So
Nice.
won't be surprised. So be sure to check that out. Excellent, sir. Anything else for this evening?
I'm tapped out.
He's
Got
done.
nothing.
Well, listen, I do have to ask you one more question. Did you watch the Super Bowl?
Yes. Yes, I made Laura watch the Super Bowl. I liked Rihanna floating around on her floating platforms. I was nervous for her. It looked really scary. I'm sure it wasn't that scary, but well, I don't really remember what happened in the game. I think not the 49ers, the red team. The Chiefs, I think they won. They won, right?
They did. The red team won.
The red team won. And that seemed nice for them. The end of the game was, I don't remember what happened. I just remember the last like 3 minutes being like super boring.
Yeah.
Like it was like some weird, it was a classic, like someone made some dumb mistake and so they got to just run the clock out instead of like playing football, something like that, which was lame.
Yeah, post halftime it kind of falls off a little bit. Well, Colby, Matt and I did our annual prop bets challenge over at Up for Debate. This coming week, tomorrow actually, as we record this, we're doing our Super Bowl follow-up episode. And I can reveal, it's not a secret. We live tweeted it as we do every year. I won this year.
Amazing.
Woohoo, back-to-back champ,
Again?
back-to-back.
Right. After the long drought.
After the long drought, I'm an absolute champ. And I didn't just win. I really kicked his ass pretty good. So coming up this week over at Up for Debate, we're going to be talking about the game, the halftime show, the commercials, the prop bets, the whole thing. It's going to be a lot of fun. So make sure you check that out over at upfordebate.tv or wherever you get your podcasts. Look for Up for Debate, and we will recap that there. And by the way, March Madness is like a week away.
Oh, my.
And if you think Matt's going to do text-based adventure games for the 3rd year in a row, he is. I don't. He's an absolute...
Exclusively?
He's a
the
lunatic.
Only thing you're going to do?
Well, for the month, yes. But he said he's come up with some... They're not text... We're moving out of like the 70s and 80s ones, and I guess there's like more newer ones he's found. I also told him, I said, I want us to do one of those. Are you familiar with the Japanese dating simulators?
Yeah.
Which is, it's kind of a text-based adventure game. I said, Matt, you please find us a dating sim, because I think that would be funny. So that's coming up next month. So we got some great stuff happening over there. Of course, our website is don'tpanic.io. Go there. The links to the picks we talked about will be there, as well as all the episodes you are on the video. You can subscribe wherever you get podcasts. Just look for Don't Panic, the big red button. And of course, you can get a hold of us, don'tpanicshow@gmail.com, or tweet at us at Don't Panic Show. Hopefully, Dan Miller, wherever you are, you're doing well, and we'll be on a future episode at some point. But until then, on behalf of Colby, I'm Sean. We appreciate you all being here. We're going to see you next time for another great episode of Don't Panic.